Hey, welcome to my channel. My name is Ken and I'm on a journey to lose as much weight as I possibly can so I can become a fat guy no more. Well, before I jump into everything, I want to say thank you so much for coming by. Since like my last video or maybe the one before, I was looking at the subscriber number and we're up like 20 some odd, 22, 23, something like that. So if you're one of those new subscribers, thank you so much for coming by. I do appreciate it. And of course, if you're one that's been with me all this time, thank you so much for that as well. If you're watching this for your first time and you haven't hit that subscribe button, it's right down there. Would you do it for me? I'd appreciate it. Thank you so much. So one thing I didn't mention in the 3-year update in the last video is that I finally hit the 3-year mark of being Taco Bell free. Yeah, that's kind of a big thing for me. If you've been here since day one, you know how big of a thing that is for me. To say that I was addicted to Taco Bell is really an understatement, a big time understatement. As of the recording of this video, I am now at 1,108 days, 1,108 days Taco Bell free, thanks to this medication. Now you're right, I could probably go there and get some stuff from time to time, but no, that's Taco Bell was my crack, if you want to put it that way. It was something that I felt like anytime I left the house, I had to go do. So even if I was just going by to get a taco or two, which was probably rarely ever one or two, right? I mean, let's be honest. It's a major addiction that I'm very grateful that I no longer have. As a matter of fact, we have one probably about a half a mile from the house. It's been there for a couple years. I've never gone to it. So, well, that's not necessarily true. I've never gone there for me. My wife has wanted to, or I was out with other friends and they wanted to stop. That's fine. I've just never got anything there for me, and I'm very thankful for that. Again, just over 3 years, the end of August. So as of the recording of this video, 1,108 days Taco Bell free. So the past couple weeks have been interesting. After having, I think it was 11 weeks out of the building, no more prison weeks for 11 weeks while they did some work there, I had to go back last week. And so that, I guess by the time this video comes out, it'll be 2 weeks ago. I had to go back, and that was kind of weird, just being there, being around a lot more people like that and stuff. And just the whole atmosphere always feels so much different. I am so much more comfortable sitting right here behind me working than I am in that building. A few reasons: I can control the temperature in the room, I can control the lights here, I don't have to get up as early, all those things. It is so much more comfortable working at home. Plus I can do things between calls, and I can't at work because I can't, have my laptop. And so yeah, that's why I call it prison weeks. On top of that, as we know, those are the weeks where I can't take the full complement of my water pills. So I usually come out of there gaining weight, and this last time was no different. Not quite sure if that was the reason or if it was something else, but we'll talk about all that. But yeah, prison week. So I've got a couple more weeks, and then I got to go back again because you get 3 weeks at home, 1 week in the building, 3 weeks at home. So as of this video, I have all of next week, which I'll actually be on vacation for, and then 1 more week, and then I'm back in the building the last week of September into early October. So just a few days ago, it marked the 1-year anniversary of me losing my buddy Boomer, our dog. That was a bittersweet anniversary, of course. I'm doing much better. I still miss him dearly, but I'm doing much better because now I like to just see the pictures of him and see the videos and just smile and remember the good times. That's, all those years that we got together is just insane. I've said it before in other videos. He was in my life longer than my dad was in my life. So yeah, I mean, before my dad passed away when I was young, that's pretty crazy when you think of it that way. But one thing that I remember was last year, the day after he passed away, I remember sitting here at the house just, I got to get out of here. I got to go out. I got to do something. I had just that energy in me that was just like, it's got to go. So I decided to go down to the Oklahoma City baseball game. And so I went and watched them. And naturally I get there, and what is it? It is Bark in the Park night. Yes, that's right. I was about ready to have an anxiety attack because I'd lost my dog. And then I ended up having to be around a bunch of other people's dogs. And I'll be truthful with you, I think it actually helped me out. I think it I think it really did, because being around so many other dogs and getting to see them and just smile and think about Boomer and how there was no chance he would have wanted to go to one of those. I mean, he would have wanted to, but no, he was very protective of me, and so he would have went a little cray-cray if anybody tried walking near me, especially another dog, you know. Rah, rah, rah. He's the calmest, most quiet dog you've ever seen, unless another one comes near me, other than his sisters, right? I don't think that would have worked out too well, but this year, just a few days ago, we took his sister, Miss Piper, to her first ever bark in the park, and she freaking loved it. Absolutely loved it. Okay, well, let's be honest. It wasn't the ball game that she loved so much. It was all the attention that she was getting from the moment we walked in. They handed us a pup cup, you know, with whipped cream in it. She went crazy over that, and then just everybody that saw her wanted to come up and pet her and say hi to her, and so she was loving every bit of being at the ballpark. That did me some good too. Plus, it was a good reason for my wife to come out to the ballpark, because she came with us, and so the three of us went and enjoyed it. It is the last week of the baseball season here in Oklahoma City, which means one thing. That means that the Thunder season is about to start again. We are less than a month away from preseason for the NBA season, so that's going to get exciting again too. I'm just not ready for fall quite yet, honestly. Fall and then winter. Year goes by way too fast, just way too fast these days. So as I mentioned in that last video, I actually went and saw the doc, or maybe it was 2 videos ago, I don't know, when I was getting my blood work done. So I want to show you some of those results just to keep you up to date on all those numbers. As we can see here, my glucose level is at 71. Yeah, that's actually really good. So, you know, that's about average. If you look at the trend, it stays about true to what it's been. My GFR level has bounced back up some. If you remember a while ago when I talked about it, it had almost bottomed out, it seemed like, at least from where I was. And so it's come up some, so that's a good sign. My sodium level, my blood sodium level there looks really good at 142. And my potassium's at 4.3, so it is definitely up and staying up. And I think a big reason of that is because of the electrolyte mix that I make. It really helps out a lot. So if you haven't seen that video, I'll link it at the end of this one. It shows a great way how to make your own electrolyte mix. So it's tailored for you based on blood work, like, you know, I've got here from the doc. It's allowed me to be able to adjust it for me. And potassium is a big one for me that I need, so I can up those levels anytime I need in that mix, and it's been working great. On this one here, the main two to look at is calcium and total protein, and both of them are looking fantastic. When it comes to cholesterol levels, they say that a good cholesterol level is under 200. They say a great one is under 150. Well, mine says it's 124. And the doc still doesn't get that. But I don't eat a whole lot of meat. I don't eat a whole lot of stuff like that. So it should be fairly low. And that, again, is fantastic. And the last one I want to show you here is my A1C. 4.8. 4.8, and that is one that has really baffled people through the years. I had that doc back in Washington, Dr. Lindstrom, who told me, you've got to be the healthiest fat guy I've ever met, because my cholesterol levels, everything, right down to that A1C, especially when I was at my highest weight. So, you know, I started my journey here at 595. I was even above that before. Not too long before that, I was up into the 620, 630, that range. My A1C has always been fantastic, right around that 5 or below. Everything, my cholesterol, I think the highest my cholesterol I've ever seen it at was like 135, 140, somewhere along in there. And so everything has always been good. And that's, you know, that's kind of frustrating too, to be honest. I mean, it's a good thing. I mean, it's a blessing in disguise, definitely, because you don't want those things to be up that high, or you got other problems, right? But then it's kind of a curse, because then docs are like, well, why are you gaining so much weight? So through the years, that's exactly what I've dealt with. Well, why? How come? You know, you don't have all these other issues that would manifest, you know, weight on you. So why do you? I never knew why, but evidently now that we have this medication, I knew exactly why. I was missing something biologically that this medicine gives me, and that's why I've been able to lose the weight. And just looking at the blood work results basically proves that yet again to me. So I'd mentioned in the video where I talked to the doc where she wants me to try to keep my sodium levels even. So I've been working pretty hard on that. That's a little bit tougher than I really thought, because I have to every single day. I have to calculate out how much extra sodium I need and add it to foods. Sometimes I throw it in with my electrolyte mix, just depending upon how much I need. And I have to make sure that I'm getting minimum of 1,200 milligrams a day. And so that's actually kind of tough, even if that means sprinkling a little bit on some fruit. I mean, I'll do it. I had a cucumber the other day, sprinkled like it was like an eighth of a teaspoon on it to get me a little over 100. I use the low sodium pink Himalayan sea salt, right? So I think a quarter teaspoon is like 225 milligrams. So if you half that for an eighth, that's what I put on some cucumber, and by golly, that sounds really good right now. I know I've got lunch coming up. I have no desire to eat right now, but lunch is coming up. I'm actually going to make me a burrito. I make my own homemade refried beans in the Instant Pot. So I'll throw some of those inside of a tortilla with some onions, a little bit of nutritional yeast, wrap that up, heat it up, serve it with some of my homemade salsa on it. That sounds really good to me right about now, but I'm just not ready to eat yet. So I'll get this video done, start some editing, and then maybe go have something to eat. But one thing I have noticed over the last few weeks since I've started to keep that sodium level is that my legs are no longer, how several weeks there, different updates, I would tell you how my legs would just kind of become squishy, right above the brace line there. It would just, and I didn't understand why, because I knew I wasn't going high sodium, so that couldn't be a problem. Well, I don't know if this is just like the world's biggest coincidence, or if it is because of the way the sodium is, and it does possibly lead to dehydration if you don't have enough. But I haven't had that issue. As a matter of fact, those legs are a lot tighter now, and they feel great. What I can see now too is what the doctor was seeing, and that is she's saying, you got a lot of loose skin. And I could definitely see that myself now. I mean, as I mentioned before, I'm not in any position to have surgery done or anything. But when she said that, I was kind of confused. Well, now I can see it, where it kind of wrinkles up there and bunches up and stuff. That's kind of cool, at least to be able to know that that's one of those signs that you're losing a pretty good amount of weight, is when you start having stuff like that. I kind of feel it on my stomach as well. What do they call that? The apron, right? I can feel it getting just a little flabby on there too, even more so. I remember back in the day when you could dang near bounce a quarter off of it. I thought I was going to explode. My skin was so tight because I was so big, and now it's completely opposite. So I'm definitely seeing progress. Definitely seeing signs of these things now that have really been coming a long ways, and I'm pretty excited about that. So as always, got my phone with me here. I'm going to go over the last couple weeks sets of numbers here just to show you how it's been. Again, I can't figure out how to get MyFitnessPal to let me do more than 1 week at a time. So we're going to have to do 2 of them here, but I want to show you both of these sets here. So as we can see on this first week, August 23rd through 29th, I averaged 1,301 calories for the day. On the next week, from August 30th through September 5th, I averaged 1,309. So I'm staying right about that 1,300 mark, and I'm okay with that. Taking a deeper dive into the numbers for that first week, you can see that I had 105 grams of protein. My fiber was at 35 grams per day. My sodium was 1,171. Again, I'm targeting now 1,200, so I was pretty doggone close to that. Beats the heck out of the last few weeks where I was like 500 or 700, right? And my potassium was 7,966 with a target of 6,000. So yeah, that's fantastic. The following week, my protein came in at 110 grams for the week. My fiber jumped up considerably, up to 45 grams. My sodium was 1,174, so it was 1,171 the previous week, 1,174 the next, so that's pretty good and consistent there for sure. And my potassium came in at 8,039, again with a target of 6,000. I'm perfectly fine with that too. And as I've mentioned in the past, that does not include when I use a potassium chloride shaker, kind of like a salt shaker. So if I add it to stuff, which I do quite often, it does not include that, so it's actually probably a little bit higher than that, to be truthful. So with that said, what has the scale said for me lately? Well, all right, let's back up a ways. If you remember, I gave that update where I was up at 370 pounds, right? I started coming down, and then I had that week where everything looked great, but for some reason, I think it was my last weight update, I was up, I think it was 8 pounds, right? 7 or 8, somewhere along in there. I think it was 8. And that was the week that I got really frustrated because I couldn't figure out for the life of me why that would be. It just made no sense. I think I remember saying in that video something along the lines of just look at these numbers and this is what's produced that 8-pound weight gain. It just made no sense to me. That again, of course, also led me to think that it could be the compound that I was using, so we got a new one. So the doctor prescribed me with a company that she likes down in Texas. I got that in the mail. I took that first shot of 12.5, and I don't know if I talked about this or not, but it knocked me silly. I mean, it actually knocked me silly. I had not felt sick like that from a shot of anything in a long time. If you remember a few weeks ago, I upped a little bit on the old compound and I went up to a shot of 15 and I was kind of expecting it to do that. It did not. But this 12.5 of this stuff that the doctor prescribed for me, it absolutely did. And I mean, I was down for the count that first full day afterwards and most of that next day. And I was grateful to be ready to go back to work on that Saturday because, I mean, it was just like, boom. Knock me like Rocky did Apollo Creed. Because man, I don't know, other than maybe that tells you that the compound I was getting before wasn't worth the time to pull it out of that vial. I don't know. I don't really know. I mean, it could have been coincidence, and maybe so, because the next couple shots I've taken haven't done anything close to that, but I can feel them working. The whole time, each day afterwards, I'm always just kind of like I expect to be, a little bit lightheaded, a little bit, and that's probably because I seem to eat less those days, as we all know, but it wasn't anything like before. And so that's a good thing. So then that first week after taking that shot from that compound, I kind of told you, kind of teased a little bit that it was an exciting week. I went down in that first week. I went down 20 pounds. 20, that's right. 20, not 10, but 20 pounds. Now, granted, most of that I know was fluid because I knew that's what I was holding, but still 20 freaking pounds in that first week. That was absolutely amazing. I don't know what else to say other than that kind of makes me point towards the fact that maybe that is accurate. Maybe that compound that I'd been getting from that other company wasn't worth the time to even look at it. I don't know. Could be coincidence, could just be switching it up, could be, I don't know. We've had a harvest moon or whatever lately. Who knows? I'm not into all that stuff, but who really knows? But from what I'm seeing, tried something different by going with a different company to get it. 20 pounds in 1 week. That's all I know. 20 pounds gone. And that works for me. Absolutely fantastic. So with losing that 20, I also decided to up my protein levels. As you could see, they were definitely above that 100 gram per day on average. There were a few days that I was, 120, 130, and other days that I ate less. Those, less days coming, of course, right after the shots. But average, I think, 105 and 110 for those last 2 weeks that I showed you there, which is considerably more than what I really like to have. And we'll talk about that. But I started doing that as well. So I was adding things, back. I was eating more tofu, more beans, stuff like that to help get that number up, having a protein shake when needed, trying my best not to have a protein shake. I would much rather have the actual, plant strong proteins instead of having it from a shake or something. I do not begrudge anybody that needs that. Just for me, I really don't want to do that. Sometimes you just, have to. And so I've done that when needed. I did actually have one last night. We went to OKC Broadway last night, saw Kimberly Akimbo. It was absolutely amazing. It's the first show of this year's season. We've got, seven more shows this season. So we've got like A Beautiful Noise is coming, Elf is coming. The next one in October is the Book of Mormon. Shucked. I can't remember. The Wiz is coming. So there's something else in there too. I can't remember what it is. I've got a picture of the chart for this season. I'll put that up right here so you can see those. But last night we went to it, and I just wasn't up to feeling like eating anything before we left because I'd had kind of a late lunch. And then when we didn't get home until about 10:30, I really didn't feel like cooking anything and eating anything then. So I just grabbed a protein shake. That helped out. So again, I'm not against those. I just want to try not to, for me, if I possibly can. So with my protein levels up higher, I was kind of expecting my body to be like, yeah, here we go with this new compound, with its new protein levels going up. Instead, it went the other way. I started gaining weight. I gained 3 pounds in a couple days, and a couple days later I went up another 3 or 4, and I'm like, I don't understand this. My food intake was staying the same, my sodium was pretty much staying the same, everything was pretty much equal to exactly what it was the week before when I had lost weight, and the week before that. And so I don't understand what the situation was, and I think I figured that out. But with that said, yeah, I'd gone back up some. So I can say that overall, I've lost that and a little bit more. And from my last weigh-in on August 2nd, I am currently down 24 pounds. So I'm down 24 pounds overall since that August 2nd weigh-in, even with, doing this there for a little while. And I can't argue with that. That's brought me down quite a ways from where I was. Again, I was at 370 in that one video I told you at. This now puts me at 346. So that's where I currently am as of yesterday morning. That's Friday, September 13th. Yeah, kind of excited about that. I mean, it's definitely slowed down some from that first big week, which, we all expect that. We all want to drop as much as we can each week, right? But as long as I'm coming back down, I'm okay with that. That still puts me 14 up from my lowest back in February, the end of February or March, whenever that was. So, I still got a ways to go to be able to get to it. But the truth is, for me, as long as I keep coming down, I'm going to be okay. I would, me, I don't set weight loss goals. I just don't. I like to celebrate the milestones. And right now, that next milestone to me is getting back to where I was. And then I want to see, 299 and then 275, that pipe dream weight. We got a long ways to go for that. I am hopeful that this new compound is actually going to work for me like I think it should, like it has been, evidently. I mean, 20 pounds in that first week, and then, in the aggregate, only 4 pounds over the last 2. Well, that's still a 2 pound a week average, and I'm okay with that. If I could lose 2 pounds every week, like consistently, yeah, I'd be perfectly fine with that. What is that? That's 104 for the year. So if I could lose 104 pounds from where I'm at right now, that would put me at 240, is that right? Yeah, 240 pounds next year at this point. That's not going to happen. I understand that, but I'm just saying. So yeah, 2 pounds a week would be absolutely fantastic. I am hopeful, very hopeful, that before we go to New York, that I'll be able to get back to that lowest weight and maybe even a little bit further. Talked about this before. By the time you're seeing this video, I'll already be out on the road. I'm hoping to put this up on Tuesday, the 16th. With that said, there's a good chance when this goes live, I'm going to be in Kansas City already. So Angie and I, my bestie, are hitting the road. That's the day we leave. And there's going to be a lot going on. We've already talked about how we're going to try to eat right, share stuff, do stuff like that to where we don't go overboard. I already know the sodium's going to affect me no matter what I do. I mean, that's just how it's going to be. And so I know that I'll come back from it up, and it'll probably take 2 or 3 weeks to get that off. And I'm perfectly fine with that. But with that said, I think that I can definitely hit that mark by December, being at my lowest or beyond. And I'm really looking forward to that. But if I don't, I'm not going to be mad as long as I'm feeling good, because I know I'm going to be going to the gym more. I'm going to be up on that treadmill more. And so as long as I'm moving and feeling good, I mean, you could really look at the past 6 months almost as a maintenance thing, right? I haven't been losing. I have gone up some, but I've kind of, I'm almost back to where I was, kind of thing. And so I don't know. I mean, I'm a little disappointed, but I'm also excited that I haven't just completely blown it, because I've made what I feel is better choices and stuff. And if I had bum batches of that medication, well, that just played against me, and I don't know. I don't know if it's it. Again, I have any clue. But what I can say is there's been a few things that I've had to adjust again because it went against me. So like when the weight went up, I was talking about that. So then this past Monday on the 8th of September, I made a change, and it has made a world of difference for me. And I mean, like, massively different for me right now. So feeling so much better. So I don't know, I got more energy, everything. And so we'll talk about that, but we're not going to talk about that until another video, to be honest with you. I can't wait to talk about that a little bit. I'm pretty sure it's going to be a little controversial, but it is what it is. I mean, that's just the way it goes. This is my journey. I'm not telling everybody else that you need to follow my journey directly. I'm just letting you guys know exactly what I've been doing and how it's been working for me. And there's there's something coming up in another video. I'm not quite sure when I'll have it ready to go, doing a little bit of research for it, certain things I want to talk about. Then I'll get it recorded and I'll get it up. So if it's not up this next week, within the next couple, again, I've got next week where I'm going to be on the road completely. So I'm not going to be able to do a whole lot then. But yeah, looking forward to talking about it. So I'm going to go ahead and close this video because we've come to that point where I'm just rambling on and on and on and on. And editor Ken is going to have a lot of work to do to cut out a lot of this stuff. I appreciate you coming by. I appreciate you watching. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, please do. Give it a thumbs up. Leave me a comment down below. If you haven't seen my video about making your own electrolytes, here it comes. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. If you'd like to follow me on my journey to become a fat guy no more, hit that subscribe button and don't forget to hit that bell so you can get notifications every time I upload a new video.